Hello, everybody, or every one person that's on. I know it's like a really weird time. It's Friday night, and I know people are out and doing things. We actually had a Friday off for once because we've been going to Cade, our little Cadesters and band, just in case y'all didn't know that. But anyway, hit the comment, the like, subscribe, the happy faces. Thank you so much. We're back, finally back. I felt like after I interviewed JD, I'm like, what's there to live for? What, like, what do I do? There's nothing else that I can do with this. Now, he was like the highlight of my career. Like after that, it was just like one and done. There, I'm done. But
Yep.
anyway,
Definitely
thank
not
you.
a definitely not a TikTok celebrity here, but
Thank
you
you
know,
so much for coming on. I appreciate your non-celebrity like status coming on. CPJ, I have missed you so much. Thanks for coming in here and fulfilling all of my orders. CPJ has been crazy busy and I love it. And so anyway, Eric, thank you so much for joining me today. How was everyone's day? Mine was kind of uneventful. What about yours?
same, just work.
Yeah, just work. But we did end up going on a date night tonight.
Yeah.
And oh, stop it, Carrie. This song's gonna get stuck in my head. Guess who's back? Tell a friend. I love this song. Anyway, so we did end up going on a date night and we went to King Street Pub. And we just usually go to our same places. Tammy, thanks for hopping in here. We usually go to like our same lame-o places, right? We always have like our you guys, you guys are probably like us. You have your own little particular place that you go to and you go there day in, day
Over
out.
and over.
And so we're like, okay, let's change it up. So I was like, okay, we can do, Eric's like, I want to do something that we see like on the Lubbock Foodies page. And because usually it's like either Albrand's, because they have a great
Friday night.
Friday night, and I actually love their cocojitos. If y'all go to Albrand's, go get their cocojitos. Anyway, oh gosh, an Amber Alert coming in. Allery Michelle Rodriguez, 12-year-old from Converse, Texas.
Yeah, one woke us up this morning.
Yeah, did y'all get that one at 6:30 this morning or 6 o'clock this morning? It's a little early for me, but anyway, so I'm going to show you what we had. Can you do the big things? Hey, Joanne, thanks for coming in here. I know, Joanne, I love that you check on me. That means the world to me. And so I'm going to share my screen real quick and show y'all what we had to eat tonight because it was so good. Y'all need to go there. And if y'all want to go with me, just let me know and I'll go with y'all. Okay, so this is what we had. Of course, I had to have a margarita. It was so good. Ended up having two before it was said and done.
20.
Stop it. Just one. Okay, so these are shrimp, avocado, and mango nachos. So good. And they are gluten-free. They are not dairy-free though, because they do have some cheese on them, but we made an exception tonight.
A little whiskey in the background.
And there's some whiskey back there. And what was mine called? It was a crusted gluten-free salmon with black rice. Trout. I don't know why I called it everything tonight, but trout. Anyway, so good. And then y'all, this dessert, gluten-free as well. It is basically a Reese's peanut butter cup. So good. And what I think I took a picture of what you had. Oh, right here. What was yours called?
It's called the Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight. And
16-ounce ribeye.
So I thought it was great. Eric was like, nah.
Yeah, I mean,
Eric thinks his steak was
when you make better steak at home.
Oh gosh. Just stop it. But anyway, look, hey Chon, how are you, sir? Thanks for hopping in here. But anyway, so we had a great date night. Enjoyed it. But we also had a funny little conversation. And I want you guys to weigh in on it and tell me what you think. So, this lady walks in and she's wearing some short shorts. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's got some great thighs. And so I'm like, I don't know. I guess me being 40, I don't know. Maybe I've always thought this way, but I just was thinking, I'm like, man, I would love to tell her what great thighs she has. Sometimes I feel like women need a boost, and maybe most don't. Maybe it's just me that needs a boost every now and then. But anyway, so Eric and I were talking, and what were we saying? I was just like,
well, I told you, like, well, go over there and tell her. And, you were
Yeah, but I'm
basically
like,
saying that
okay,
it
but
would be creepy
it would be
if
creepy if I went up to her and told her, "Hey, great thighs, you must work out," or something. But I don't know.
what I said was that if I went up there and told her that she had good looking thighs, then it would be creepy. But if some hot dude went over there and told her like
Okay.
that she had some nice thighs, then she'd be like, "Oh, well, thanks."
Yeah, okay. So this is one of our discussions. I'm like, you know what? So the thing about it is if you're ugly, it's sexual harassment. But if you're an attractive person, then it's like totally okay. You're basically flirting.
Yep.
But another thing too is like, and I don't know, Joanne, you chime in on this, Tammy. Like Latina women, it's really hard. It's like they're always in competition. You can't go say something because you're automatically like you're not genuine. Anyway, so we were just talking about that, and so I felt like it was a good date night. What do you think overall,
Yeah, it was good.
other than your poor drinks, your poor choice of
Poor
drinks,
drink choices.
poor drink choices? What was that comment? Lift up your collar, Eric. Sandy, you know that term in Spanish. Let's see. Lift up your collar. Levántate el culo. No, Joanne, tell me what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, Joanne. But anyway, CPJ, the place I go day in and out, the dang school. Okay, so CPJ, my only advice to that is we drop Kate off an hour early, and that's really to avoid traffic, but also to avoid like a headache like we've suffered through elementary and middle school, because school drop off, you know that it's I hate school drop off.
Brutal.
People are awful. It really is. Let's see. I'm a go tell her kind of gal. I would have said, "Girl, you look smoking fun." I've done it a ton. So, like, if I see a person, I'm like, "Oh, I love your hair. I love your purse. I love your shoes." I'm really good at that. But this girl wasn't anywhere near my vicinity. She just happened to be in my line of sight.
She just walked.
She just walked by. I mean, I couldn't tell you what she looked like. I saw her thighs and her shorts. I never looked up to look at her face.
Sandy was checking out her booty.
No, I was not. I was checking out her thighs. She had great thighs. Did she have great thighs?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. He looked right at her thighs when I said it. Look at Joanne. She said, "I have chicken legs." So there you go. Joanne, honestly, you know what? I don't even know. Don't skip leg day. That's my only advice. Don't skip leg day. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry for the rambling. I throw compliments out like confetti at the gym to other women. See, and Tammy, I feel like that's what you need to do, because sometimes I feel like we're in a bad place. And I tell Eric all the time, there's times when we go through valleys when you're just not feeling 100%. And for someone to throw a compliment out, I feel like that's just.
But I think the question at hand is what happens if a guy throws a compliment at a girl.
Like, to me, I would be super flattered. Like, I'm not the kind to be like Karen and go off on you. I'm like, thanks.
Like, because I feel like most, I don't know, like if you're a regular guy or not so good looking guy, then women probably find it creepy if some guy compliments them on whatever.
Which sadly, I feel like you're correct.
And then if the guy's attractive to the girl, then she's like, "Oh, hey, thanks."
Yeah, here's my number.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. We live in a world where it's like, "Oh, I'm independent. Don't talk to me like that." I mean, shit, I get it.
You're a sexist pig.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the world we live in. I mean, you're right. You unfortunately, you as a male cannot go compliment a woman without having some sort of ulterior motive. I mean, that's just what it boils down to.
And so you have to have, I guess, as a man, you have to have, kind of the confidence that girl's going to think you're attractive before you even go up there and, compliment her. If not, I mean, you're liable to,
get slapped.
Get sued for sexual harassment or something.
Which is totally plausible. Totally plausible. Let's see. Go to CPJ's comment. I literally got up and walked all the way across the E&J's patio. Tell I need to take her shirt off and give it to me because I love it so much. She laughed and hugged me, huh? Okay, so that I love it. So CPJ, Missy and I and Gelia, we go way back. And so when we loved a shirt on each other, we're like, oh my gosh, that is the tackiest shirt I've ever seen. I need that. So, and I try to say that to people and I'm like, oh shoot, you don't know me, but I do love your shirt. So anyway, that's so awesome. Yes. Thank you, CPJ. Compliments are great to a girl to girl, but a guy immediately it's getting, yeah, exactly. And I told Eric, I said, I did not, that's something that we talked about too, is like, Um,
It's like why can't you just like, I mean, obviously if my wife here thinks that this girl has nice thighs, but like if I was to say it, even if I would have said it to you, said, hey, that girl has some nice thighs, you'd have been like, what the?
Eric would have been on my podcast as a missing husband.
But you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Okay, come on now.
but it's like as humans, I mean, you can recognize that other human like is a good looking just human,
Right.
regardless of whether it's a male or a female or whatever. And dudes can, I mean, you can try to be as, non
Threatening.
whatever as possible, but I mean, guys recognize good looking guys, girls recognize good looking girls, but when it's the opposite, when it's something the opposite, I mean, it's almost like you can't say it because you don't want to become off as some kind of you know chauvinist or some, whatever, like.
Well, but like I'll tell you, man, like, man, that guy's attractive. Like I'll be like, man, that guy's hot. But like I don't mean that as a disrespect to you. I mean it's like total compliment, right?
But it also depends on the dynamics, I guess, of the relationship. But
oh my gosh, that is so funny. If a guy comes up to me and compliments me, I say, quiet, you
we got a funny mug coming out.
We just ordered a quiet you trash mug. That is so funny. See, Joanne says pig. Oh, look at Chon. Chon bust out with look out.
Mm-hmm.
John's like, oh.
But that's the whole, the I guess double
standard. It's a double standard.
It's like, a woman can recognize a woman and say that she's pretty or whatever,
and she can recognize a man.
But if a guy, recognizes that same girl is pretty, that the girl already recognizes pretty, then then you're being, some kind of a.
It just depends on the level. Remember when we were dating and you checked that girl out when we were at Hastings and you read her shirt, you were like, Air Apostle. And I'm like, why'd you say that? You're like, I have no idea. Because I'll never forget that. And that was because we were dating. And that was like 15 years
ever
ago.
Since then, I've made it a point not to say anything about anybody's looks.
Y'all, he straight up read it out loud and he said, Air Apostle. Like you remember that. But anyway, okay. Enough about date night. So I want to tell you guys another quick side story that's going to lead into what we're going to talk about tonight. So and of course, I've had this plan for a little bit. So I want to say like a couple, maybe 3 weeks ago, you guys know that I've done my ancestry DNA. And I also... Are
you going to share my ancestry?
I should have shared your ancestry. And I also did the 23andMe. And so anyway, crazy thing is I matched across the board with like a ton of people, and including one that didn't respond. And she came back as like my first cousin. But for the most part, I know all of my first cousins on both my mom and dad's side. So anyway, that is like blowing my mind. But the lady that reached out to me, so she explains to me that she's looking for her daughter's father. For what did I tell you? 23 years ago, mm-hmm. She had a one-night stand, and her daughter was a product of this one-night stand. And anyway, so this father, who we have no idea who he is, the father of this child, the girl's now 23. We have no idea who she is. The dad is my fourth cousin. No, her and I are fourth cousins. Her dad is my third cousin. But she's like, by my own admission, I was wild back in the day. So I'm not judging her because we were all wild. Well, most of us. Okay, maybe me. Let me just narrow it down. I was super wild back in the day. So I couldn't have one night stand. Anyway, none of y'all's business. But anyway, so we've connected, and I've been trying really hard to figure out who that baby daddy is. But it's so hard, you guys. But anyway, so, and then it was crazy. She reached out to me like 1 week. And then the following week, I had another lady reach out to me, all on my tree. And her mama gave her up for adoption. So she's looking for her adoptive mama. And then the third one was trying to find her husband's family. And strangely enough, last Sunday, my dad was able to put a puzzle piece to that. So my DNA tree is just getting bigger and bigger. But I talked to you about DNA because, let me read these comments. Tammy said, you looked at Eric all crazy as you left and said, I remember.
Yeah.
I gave him the crazy eyes.
She never, ever, ever will let me forget.
Hey, Tammy, we go by the Aeropostale store, and I even say it, Aeropostale. Just like he told me. It was so damn funny. Joanne says, play it safe, Eric. Shut your mouth because you won't get any more grief.
And then
And here's Eric's DNA.
Just so y'all know, like this is what Sandy said my DNA was.
And that's no lie. That is no lie, you guys. That is his assortment. I'm afraid someone will come knocking on my door and tell me that they are my long lost child. I mean, I don't remember my early 20s much. Okay, okay, CPG. That's what I asked Eric. I'm not gonna have any surprises or anything come around. Am I? I never. What if Leah diarrhea has something?
Oh my god! Here we go.
Y'all remind me to tell you about Leah diarrhea. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you real quick. Eric was so in love with her. Oh, they were gonna get married. I'll tell y'all later. He's right here. I can't tell you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about a couple of cases that have been solved due to DNA. And but first, I want to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about your DNA being used to solve cold cases? How do you feel about that with your assorted crack DNA?
Like, here's a bit of saltine. Here's a bit of Ritz.
Oh, I do love the Ritz. I think if I were to put you in a category, you'd be a Ritz or a Pepperidge Farm. Pepperidge Farms are good.
Those are like, you got to, pull up your pinky.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely not a Pepperidge Farm. What's a redneck cracker? Just kidding. Just kidding. Like,
those are goldfish.
Leah with the Oh, I have teased him relentlessly. That and Aeropostale, just throw those in together. Y'all can just figure out our conversations. Anyway, okay. So tell me in the comments how you guys feel about DNA being used to solve cold cases. So last Tuesday, or a couple of Tuesdays ago, Bruce Samansky was indicted for the murder of 17-year-old Nancy Noga. Listen, hold on. Nancy went missing January 7th of 1999. Y'all, I was a senior in high school when this happened. She was murdered while walking home from her part-time job. Her body was discovered 5 years later and determined her cause of death was blunt force trauma. Investigators credit genetic genealogy.
BFT. What? BFT.
Oh my gosh. Trauma. I was thinking BLT. Anyway, and I just ate. Investigators credit genetic genealogy techniques, which involve uploading suspect DNA to online database and finding a link to a relative who may be on the database. I've said this once, and I've said it again. Any future murderers in my family tree are screwed because my DNA, your DNA, our kids' DNA, it's everywhere. We did this to everybody.
We gave it to Ancestry, to 23andMe, to all
and we gave it to Be the Match.
Be the Match. Which they still haven't called me. I was supposed to be.
Eric was elected to be the match for it. Was he 50?
50-year-old male.
No wonder Joanne's husband thought you were 50. Oh man, look, what did CPJ say right there? Eric's learned he's a charcuterie board.
That's what they sent me back. They sent me a prize pack from Ancestry.
Right.
A charcuterie board.
Charcuterie board. But anyway, so that was solved. Again, family of mine, if you plan to be future murderers, you're going to get caught. I really wanted to know. Okay, so I'm going to be honest with y'all. The only reason that I did my Ancestry, my DNA and all that stuff, because I was hoping to catch some family and some cheese, man. Okay, I'm just going to tell y'all that right now. And I have some good sheet that's come of it. Okay, anyway, focus. Let me focus. Oh, hold on. Eric's going to find something. But can I go ahead and talk about the next case?
Sure.
Okay. So anyway, the next case might be not 100%. Don't come at me. I was just telling you what I just heard. Might be one of the oldest cold cases to be solved. This case is 65 years old. Patricia Kalitsky, she was 16 at the time, and Dwayne Bogle was 18. They were both found shot in the head in Montana. And the accused is Kenneth Gold of Missouri, and he died in 2007. So Patricia had been raped, and thanks to evidence collected and saved, they did additional genealogical testing and led it to Gold because Gold had been cremated and his kids consented to submit DNA samples that resulted in the match. Okay, you guys, how would you feel finding out that your grandparent or your parent, maybe your great grandparent, was a murderer? Like, okay, I might sign a book deal. I'm not even kidding you. That's how intrigued I would be. How would you feel?
If what?
Oh my God, I hate you. See, and then you say that I'm not even listening.
I told you to wait because I was.
No, that's why you should know your passwords. Anyway, so 2 cold cases that were solved in just this past month. So super interesting, I think, because thank you DNA for coming in the clutch with those things. What are you trying to do? Oh, Eric wants to show y'all his charcuterie board for real.
Yeah, actually,
and it's taking forever.
It had signed me out.
Oh, it signed him out, guys.
So look, here it is. Let it focus.
I need to lower it down, dude. 100% European.
100% European.
Okay.
So not a cracker assortment, just a cracker.
Crackers be cracking. Okay, so my next case, what are we talking about? You got, man, let's go back to missing 411. If y'all remember that. Missing 411, people that go missing in the mountains. No.
Eerie sounds. No trace.
No trace. You hear stuff. You don't. Well, you do see stuff in some instances.
You hear stuff.
And you hear stuff. Anyway, so August 17th, John Garish, Ellen Chung, their 1-year-old daughter, Niju, I may be pronouncing it wrong, don't at me, and their dog were all found dead on a hiking trail near the Heights Cove, which is located in the Sierra National Forest. As of today, they are uncertain of the causes of death.
Uncertain?
Hush your mouth. That's so rude. Oh, I think Leah Diarrhea is calling you. My gosh. I'm glad you think you're hysterical because I don't think you are.
That's good.
No, it wasn't. Anyway, so they're still uncertain of the cause. The portion of the trails where they died have been closed, but authorities are still treating the area as a hazmat scene. So they are showing that there was some harmful algae bloom in the water test, in one water test. But my conclusion is that's some alien shit going on, and aliens are getting sloppy, and they left the evidence behind when they could have taken all of them because the dog was left behind, but everybody died. Everybody was killed that day. So anyway, I'll keep you posted. I don't know what else is going on with that one. I definitely need to find out all about my DNA. I've been told my grandpa maybe murdered someone. We don't even know his real name. Shauna. Yeah. Shauna, have you done your ancestry? Tell me. I'm curious.
She said she needs to find out. So
I know, but that doesn't mean that she hasn't done it. She just said she needs to find it.
Well, she said she needs to find out all about her DNA.
Okay, so do 23andMe, and then no. Which ancestry is probably the more?
Ancestry has more.
It probably has the biggest database.
Has the bigger database. Yeah,
but the Ancestry, 23andMe also has a medical part of it, so it might be interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, CPJ as well. My family married the mobster Machine Gun Kelly, not the rapper boy.
Oh, not the rapper.
Family was arrested for aiding MJ Kelly and Bonnie and Clyde. How do I feel? It's awesome. Exactly. Like that's amazing part of history. I mean, I'm all about it. You know, I'm all about that nonsense. I love it. Use the cracker or beaner. So whatever. Eric is the cracker to my beans. Nice. And then Chon said, not so, Sandy. Shauna, what are you waiting for? Are you scared of secrets, Shauna? Are you scared?
She's probably just saying that she hasn't done her DNA yet.
No, but I want to know why she hasn't done it. You know, some people would be like, well, because I don't have access to it. I mean, What are you waiting for? Okay.
Maybe you're scared to like, spit
Are you scared to spit in a cup?
in the tube.
I don't think Sean is. So anyway, okay. So the moment we've all been waiting for. Gabby Petito. Okay.
Petito.
I love that last name.
It's almost like potato, except it's Petito.
Maybe that's why I liked it, because you know how much I love a potato. I never met a potato I did not love. Anyway, focus. Okay. So Gabby Petito is a vlogger, right? Would you say she's a popular vlogger? What would you say about her?
She's an Instagram.
She's an Instagrammer. She's an influencer. Would you say she's an influencer?
She had a sizable following on Instagram.
Okay, I'll allow it.
And
sizable
and also
following.
her boyfriend as well.
Okay,
both had sizable followings.
Did you watch any of her videos?
She only had one video posted.
No way. How do you have a sizable following with the?
And it was only like from like 4 or 6 weeks ago, something like that.
Oh, really? That's so weird. I would have thought.
So that's what I'm saying. She was an Instagram. She didn't vlog hardly anything. She just posted on Instagram.
Okay.
Basically.
So if you're living under a rock, or if you have a life, unlike me, you have heard of Gabby Petito. And so this is really a seriously messed up situation. You want to click on that before we go?
Sure.
I haven't thought about it until you get me excited. Shauna, we are going to do this. Order that kit tonight. And we're going to have your murderous family on my show. That would be so amazing.
You get a, what is it? A 14-day trial?
You do.
To Ancestry.
Okay.
So like all their tools.
So what you do is like you can put in their name and it'll bring up like birth, death certificates. The crazy part, so most of my family's in Mexico, so it's brought up like their death certificates. I was able to find great grandparents, great grandparents, their names, because we had no idea what they were. Apparently in Mexico they didn't discuss that. But in Mexico they did lots of things. But anyway, different story, different show. But anyway, okay, focus. So 22-year-old Gabby Petito went missing, but we're not really sure what day she went missing. So Gabby and her boyfriend, they've been engaged since July of 2020. And her friend reported that they decided to back away from this engagement and to go back to just being boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay. To me, I feel like this is a red flag. Anybody else feel that way? Like you're gung-ho, this is my fiance, and then you're like, let's call it off. Let's just be boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, did you move too fast? Red flag. And you just want to be back boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever. These are just my thoughts. So they decided that they were going to go on an extended vacation and visit all the national parks in the USA.
That's a lot.
There's a lot of U.S. parks. But if you've watched Missing 411, you also know that there's a lot of missing people.
They didn't go to the Smoky Mountains, did they?
No, but they went close. They went close enough. So it seems that a lot of posts that were recently looked at, that they don't think that Gabby posted these. They think that the boyfriend posted these.
Her last two.
Where did you see last two?
I read it.
Oh, shit. You did your homework. Interesting. Anyway.
Because they weren't geotagged.
Oh, he turned off the geotagging?
So like all of her posts up to August the 19th or something like that was, all of them were geotagged, like showing that they were taken in a certain location. And the last two posts on her Instagram show they don't have geotagging enabled on them. So you can't know for sure where she was whenever she posted that. Interesting.
So what happened is Gabby was in constant contact with her family, constant meaning daily, up until August the 25th.
And it was just going to be a 4-week, right? 4-week road trip. They actually rented the van.
So it wasn't like her. I thought it was like her van.
No, she rented it in her name.
Okay, so July 2nd, they leave New York. I've got this little map here that you're not privy to, but I have this little map here. We can. I just don't know how to make it like bigger for everybody to see.
Here, let me see.
Okay. Hold on. We're going to share this little map that I discovered. Can you close that out? How do you close that out?
I'm sure
Oh,
there's
it's
a way.
fine. That's fine. We'll just show that. It's fine. I'll just read off of it. No big deal. So anyway, what part of it's fine didn't you understand, girl? See, because now you can't see it and I can't read it because you're sharing it. So anyway, number 1, she leaves New York on July 2nd and they stop at Kansas Monument Rocks. Has anybody ever been to that? I'd never even heard of Kansas Monument Rocks.
I think that's somewhere on the Oregon Trail, no? Isn't that where you start? The Oregon Trail?
I don't know. You
Or
stop when you get dysentery.
Or one of your first stops?
And
are
you fording a river?
You start in like Missouri or something like that, and then
I don't know.
Anyway,
whatever. We don't know anything about anything. So they stop in July 5th. They stop at the Kansas Monument Rocks. Keep going, and then they road trip through Colorado and Utah, and then where's number 4? So she's last seen, this Gabby Petito is last seen in Salt Lake City hotel with her fiance. But let's stop here for a minute, because once the news broke that she was missing, the Utah police, right? Was it Utah police? Mm-hmm. Actually have her on a dash cam where she allegedly her and her fiance were having a fight while driving. And hold on, I was on my thing over here. Oh my gosh.
Technical difficulties.
No, just Eric messing with my stuff. Anyway, so they have her on camera and she's telling them, right, that she's having like some mental health issues. She's having anxiety.
He told her. He told the police she was in a manic state.
And so he's got like scratch marks on him. And then she also tried to, one of the police officers witnessed her trying to yank the steering wheel. And so they were kind of driving erratic, which is what caused them to get pulled over. So
anyway, they were going 45 and a 15. That's what got them pulled over.
Oh, interesting. Are they in a school zone or New Mexico normal speed limit?
In Utah.
Anyway, whatever. So, where was I? I lost it.
I don't know.
I lost my train of thought.
They got pulled over.
They get pulled over. They actually have them separate in order to not be pressing charges on anybody, right? Because nobody wanted to get in trouble.
Yeah, they didn't want to press charges on each other.
They put him in a hotel. She takes the van. Excuse me. She looks really distressed in the video. Did you see the video?
I didn't watch the video, but from, I guess, the commentary on the video said that she was crying and just constantly hysterical through the whole video.
Yeah, she was really hysterical. I'm not sure if you guys saw that video, but that video broke days later. So anyway, they did separate him that night. I think Joanne is wondering. Let's see. Oh, I saw footage on that. Cop separated that night. Yes, that's exactly who we're talking about. So anyway, long story short, it's like they finish all of their vacationing, but the only one that makes it back is the fiance. And the fiance now has lawyered up. He's not speaking to anybody. They've actually released a statement. And here's so I have a copy. I have the wording of the statement, which is super wild. So they were basically the statement says, he hopes that she's reunited with her family and understands a search has been organized in Wyoming. So they are searching in the Grand Tetons, the national park, because they feel like that's the last time that she was actually alive. But he's not saying one thing. And Eric and I were talking about this too at dinner. I'm like, his silence is damning. Holy crap. Tammy coming in with the latest. The boyfriend is now missing too. Okay, Tammy, and you and I talked about this too.
Because he just turned that van in a couple days ago.
Oh, he did turn it in?
Yeah.
You think there's evidence?
Yeah. Well, he was back in Florida. He turned it in and whatever. Florida. I thought he turned it in Florida.
I thought he drove back home.
Went to New York.
Hey, how about us being informed? We're just going to speculate the rest of this.
Let's Google this stuff.
No, not at all. So anyway, okay. So Tammy, I did not realize this. As of me doing my story last night, I had no clue that he's now missing, but he's gotten an attorney. So anyway, what I was saying is his silence is damning. And we also talked about like what his defense was going to be. So he did have wounds from where she was clawing him while they were driving. So I told Eric, I said he's going to come out and say it was accidental. She fell off a Teton. Um, and he wasn't really a person of interest he wasn't a suspect, but he was considered a person of interest. So I guess he went missing today.
He was reported missing today.
Guys,
by his attorney.
Guys,
that was 51 seconds ago.
Tammy, good Lord. 51 seconds ago. Look, that screams guilt. His silence, his running away, that screams guilt. He probably went and jumped off a Teton. Okay. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
He probably went looking for some more Tetons.
I guess so. I don't get it. Anyway, so I told Eric 2 ways.
Maybe the Tetons that he found weren't grand enough.
Apparently. Okay. So 2 ways to know somebody. Live with them. Number 1. And if you don't live with them, travel with them. Okay.
But especially travel
with them. I recently, on a trip, learned
I need to catch up on some of these.
What people are really like. Okay. We're going to catch up on comments because I'm getting behind. Okay. Go ahead. That's the issue. We don't know Grandpa's name and he was adopted and there is no record. As far as my dad and aunts and uncles know, crazy. Shauna, I promise you there's something out there. There's something out there. We can find it. Do it. Leah diarrhea died on the Oregon Trail. Just saying. Joanne said, okay, we read Joanne's comment. The dude is guilty and on the run. Okay, there's just no way you come back and not know where your fiance, where your girlfriend is, whatever it is,
to say about it.
And have nothing. There's just no way.
Like you couldn't tell him like, well, she ran away. This was the last place I seen her. I tried to chase her and she ran into the woods. I don't know.
And even if that's the case, call her family and be like, hey, your daughter crazy. She done ran off into the woods. I mean, something. Take a picture of her running. I mean, yeah, there's just no way.
Just left him by a trash barrel.
Yeah, I mean, I left her by a trash barrel. You'll find her on mile marker or something. I mean, say something. But he's not. Now he's on the run. Sean, I'm the same way. It's the boyfriend. The boyfriend did something to her. But, okay, let's pause for a second. Did she deserve it? Oh, my God, no. Don't at me. I feel like maybe it was self-defense if she was being manic and attacking him because she did attack him while they were driving.
Depending on the weaponry used.
Right. The choice of weapons. It was unfortunately the perfect storm for that poor girl. I agree. I mean, there was a lot going on and they should probably not have been. They should have called it quits the minute they started having fights, right? Or you persevere.
Yeah. I mean, depending on.
You got physical. You should have called it quits.
Yeah.
If they had to separate you, it's time to stop. Stop the van.
Yeah, well, with it, I mean, I think it's different with the again, here we go with another double standard conversation. But when the woman is physical towards a man, it's different than when a man is physical towards a woman.
But it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. But it is. Like the man will always like put up with. He's not going to say, "Well, I left this girl because she beat me," you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think while women do stay with men that, you know, are abusive, I think men probably don't ever report most of the time.
No. And that was one of the things that they said.
And I think the only reason why they got pulled over initially was because they got reported by other people. And then they were driving erratically and also driving 3 times the speed limit. So
so one thing that they said, which they said it was just like kind of weird that they had this, I don't know. They found this super bizarre, what's the word? A post, which I didn't find bizarre, but I'm also slow. So she said, my biggest fear is that one day I'll wake up and it will have all been a dream because that is what every second has felt like since the moment we found each other. Till death do us part or until I wake up. I'm so happy the answer was yes. Oh my God, I can't read. Love you, honey.
That's 62 weeks. But that's their boyfriend that wrote that.
Huh?
That's the boyfriend.
I know, but so until death do us part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. It's it's just a wild case, and it's unrolling right in front of us. We're actually front row to this. What's even more crazy is the other two that died possibly could be linked to this case. What other two, Jackie? Tell me more. What other two?
I don't know.
Are you thinking the Myrtle case, which we're going to talk about that too? That one's wild. Let's see. Tammy says, I think he was mentally abusive to her, that was pushing her mental health to the edge. In the body cam video, she says small things like, he isn't supportive and he doesn't think my website will be successful. Something along those lines. She also tells how he tells her things about her OCD. And it, very well could be. I mean,
and that's what, and I guess that's what you're talking about. Like, you need to travel with somebody to know what they're actually like.
Yeah.
Because then you know exactly how they push your buttons and how, or if they push your buttons and, whatever. I mean, we travel around the world together. So, I mean, I think we're pretty good with each other.
I think so.
As far as, we don't get on each other's nerves.
But we added some bonuses one time a long time ago. Like, never again. We're just gonna do this by ourselves. Let's see what Joanne says. Double standard. Yeah, it's a double standard. Totally a double standard. What does Chon say? Look, Chon's still digging in his heels. He said it's him. I mean, it has to be. There is no other way. They were toxic. They avoided it. They wanted to be in the camera, on the camera, when you do shit on Facebook where you're just like, oh, our life is perfect. No, it's not. The two ladies in Utah that one of them worked with at the camp, they stated one of them was a cashier, and it happened while they were, that's new to me, Jackie. What? Okay.
So there's two ladies that they died.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's interesting. Man, this is okay. So I was gonna wait. I'm like, I'll just do this next week. But I'm like, there's seriously so much stuff that's breaking because I don't have that at all. Let me look through my timeline. This is for you, Eric. Blink 2 times if you're okay. Aeropostale.
You got to capitalize the Aeropostale. Right?
Yeah, can you say it like this? Aeropostale. Find that font, CPJ. I'll share that. Oh, okay. Is that the one you were talking about? Oh my gosh. Okay, let me look. Hold on. Because Jackie did post it. I'm like, hey, tune in because I've got something to tell you. And she had actually, let me go back real quick. Sorry, guys. This is just really impromptu.
On the fly.
On the fly. Okay, so here's what we're talking about. Okay, you know what? I did have this written down. Let me see here. Okay. So Gabby and Brian were over at a bar. Also, Gabby did say to the police that they don't drink, but it's important to know that regardless, there may still be a connection to a double murder case. The domestic dispute that the cops were called to on August 12th originated at a place called Moonflower Co-op, where one of the murdered women worked as a cashier. As of now, there is no further connection between these two cases, but police have formally stated they are not ruling it out.
Oh my.
So that's basically it. I'm thinking either he murdered her or she died by accident and he freaked out and ran and won't talk. And either way, his family is obviously protecting him. The third theory would be some sort of publicity stunt to gain followers on YouTube. But just from looking at their content, that doesn't strike me as something Gabby would do. And her family also says no. Okay. So yes, I did have that written down, but I obviously hadn't read it. So, okay. Yes, Jackie. Yes, I did see that one. I don't think it was on that post. I'll send it in Messenger. Thank you so much. Vacation for me is just me, no one else. And yes, I'm an adult. Just need to keep my sanity. And you're so right, Joanne. Seriously, trust me. I know. So let's talk about this for a second, because this is also something else that was brought up when we talked about it. Nancy and I were talking about it at the office today. So what blows my mind is he's not saying one thing, and neither is the family. And I get it. You're protecting your kid. But I've always told my kids, I'm like, I will love you unconditionally, no matter what you've done. But if you've done wrong, I'm snitching. And I'm taking you down to the police station. We're going to go talk to somebody, to some authority. But just know, I'm going to put money on your books, and I'm still going to love you. But you got to pay for what you did. And that's what's crazy to me is that these parents, they're just like, I'm going to mow my lawn like nothing is ever in the wrong world. I don't know. I don't feel like that's right. I don't feel like you need to be protecting your kid because look, now what's happened? Now he's missing. Now he's missing just like she is. And you know what? Okay, so if the theory is true that they are doing this for views, that's pathetic.
That was like another case that we just recently watched, right? Where they got accused of like making the whole thing up.
Oh, Gone Girl.
Yeah.
The girl that did the Gone Girl that we talked about too.
Yeah,
what was it?
that would turn out similarly to that, I guess. Except it would
but they were
actually
accused of it, but they didn't do it.
But they didn't actually do it.
Yeah, we did it. We did a topic on that one.
Anyway.
So anyway, she does. I do have links to her Instagram and all that good stuff. If you guys, you know what? I'll just paste them in the comments if you guys want to go look. I don't know. I don't know what my opinion, my take on this, and don't at me. He did it, whether he did it on purpose or it was an accident and he ran. You don't go with somebody and not come back. I mean, that would look super sus.
Yeah.
You and I go on a trip together and I come back home and you don't. I mean, I don't know. What else would you think?
Unless, I mean, to me, it just says that the guy knows what happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's like when I asked Kate, I'm like, do you know what happened to this last cookie?
You know, regardless of whether he did something to her, regardless of whether he did something to her or not, I mean, he still must know that there's no way that she's coming home with him, and so that's why he left. And so you should at least, tell the authorities why.
Yeah,
she's not coming back with you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's wild. These parents need closure.
She run off with some guy with a narrow postal shirt, or
there's someone that has some thick thighs.
Some thick thighs.
Okay, so this next scandal comes to us from South Carolina, you guys. I mean,
South Carolina.
This one is wild. I agree. That is a good parent, and you don't give them a free card to do wrong, but love them well despite what wrong they committed. And I've told mine, I'm like, look, I mean, I love you, but I'm telling on you. And look, John's still digging in his heels. And CPJ says, this sounds like some Scott Peterson bullshit to me. Girl, I'm right there with you. Again, if you got a Grand Teton divorce, I've never been to the Grand Teton, so I don't know if they look like the Grand Canyon. You know how many people have gotten Grand Canyon divorces? We've talked about those suckers.
We have a whole book full of them.
In case y'all want to check it out, I've got it. So next, we're going to talk about Alex Myrtle. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but his last name's Myrtle. Murda. For anybody that wants to know, this guy has a perfect last name.
I would say
it's probably Myrtle.
Myrtle.
But Alex Myrtle. 53-year-old South Carolina lawyer who comes from a legacy of prominent attorneys in the state, where 3 generations of the family have been state prosecutors in the Hampton County area for more than a century. So to say that they're tied in, that these people have some connections, is probably an understatement, wouldn't you say, Mr. Abbey? I would say
in South Carolina.
So this saga begins when Murder's wife, Margaret Maggie Myrtle, 52, and their son, Paul, 22, were found fatally shot in June. Just happened. They just were found fatally shot in June.
A couple months ago. So
since then, there's been a few little glitches in the matrix because Alex Myrtle allegedly, I can't even talk. I need to really stop drinking. Alex allegedly misused money that led to the suspension of his law license and allegations of opioid addiction.
Opioid.
I almost felt like I said it wrong.
You did say you said opioid. Opioid. It's opioid.
Opioid. Oh, I can't say it. I can't say it. Opioid. 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 Okay. So let's just go
drug
ahead and
addiction.
That. He's got an addiction, an assisted suicide attempt.
What was it that my My grandma would always
Dope.
say.
He's addicted to dope.
He's on dope.
He's on dope. Anyway, an assisted suicide attempt and a 10 million insurance fraud scheme. Okay. I mean, Alex Myrtle is busy. Okay. Let me tell you what this man did. Okay. June 7th of 2021, Margaret and Paul are found dead.
His wife
Okay.
and his son. Yep.
They're found near dog kennels at their family home in Islandton, South Carolina. And the bodies are discovered by none other than Alex Murda. Okay. And he said he'd been out and about during the time of the shooting. And so anyway, but in the meanwhile, back at the ranch, Paul Murda is on trial on a charge of allegedly boating under the influence.
Who's Paul?
Paul is another son. Okay?
Oh, Paul was the son that got killed.
And anyway, in February of 2019, Paul killed 19-year-old woman Mallory Beach of South Carolina.
In a boating accident.
And that wreck led to some questioning whether his family ties to the legal system in the area affected the investigation. Okay, guys, you and I, we all live in this realistic world. We know that probably did affect the investigation, right? You don't have to say I will. It did.
Tommy Tuberville.
Right. Oh, got it. Something in my throat. So anyway, okay. So then June 17th, Alex Murda's brother speaks on Good Morning America. And so they talk about the deaths of Maggie and Paul, saying they didn't believe that their brother was involved in the killings. So they're like, my brother loved Maggie and Paul. I don't know why you could say that. Anyway, I mean, if you got to come on and defend it. Okay, so I have a theory. Like anytime you name your business after the Lord or some Bible verse, I feel like you're sketchy. Anybody else feel that way? Say I if you feel it, or blink twice if you feel that way. So anyway, so then June 22nd, authorities reopen a probe into the 2015 death of Stephen Smith. And who is Stephen Smith? I don't know who Stephen Smith is. But anyway, he was found dead in the middle of the road in Hampton County, but there's no suspects. And there's new evidence that's gathered in the Myrtle double homicide sketch. Okay. Anyway, so Alex Myrtle and his son Buster. He's a Buster. Buster is he's not. I don't know if Buster's a Buster, but he is a Buster because his name is Buster. Anyway, they announced a $100,000 reward for the information leading to the arrest and conviction of assailants involved in the murders of Maggie and Paul. Okay, so then Alex, September the 3rd, I mean, this is all just happening, people. He resigns from his law firm.
Because he had stole money from him.
Because he took money and he had his license suspended. And then September 4th, isn't it ironic? Myrtle,
the day after he
calls 911 saying he was shot, but it was just a superficial wound to the head.
Actually, fractured skull, though.
As a superficial skull fracture.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Anyway, so September 6th, again, he announces his registration, his resignation, and he enters rehab.
2 days after he got shot.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He goes into rehab. Man, he's got a hard head.
He's pretty resilient.
So he just says, okay, so my battle
he bounces back quickly.
Yeah, my battle with what kind of usage? His dope usage. His dope usage and everything else makes him go to rehab, his money misuse. Anyway, Buster Myrtle. Now that's a 90 horsepower 90s hardcore rap song. Yes. What is that? Murder. That's some Bone Thugs and Harmony right there. Anyway, focus. Let me focus real quick. Give me this mouse. You can't be controlling my stuff. So the brother is shocked by Myrtle's allegations. Alex Myrtle license is suspended, which we knew that his license was going to be suspended. So then they're investigating money from the law firm, September the 13th.
Oh, his older brother, Randy.
Oh, how many kids does this man have?
No. Alex's
brother, Randy. Okay.
Is also employed by the same law firm.
But he's released a statement saying he was shocked to learn of his brother's settling of money as well as his drug addiction.
I love my law firm family and also love Alex as my brother. While I support him in my recovery and in his recovery, I do not support, condone, or excuse his conduct in stealing by manipulating his most trusted relationships. I will continue to pursue my client's interest with the highest degree of honesty and integrity, as I always have. That's what his brother said.
Oh, who's it? Oh,
that's the guy that shot him.
So the guy that shot him is Curtis Edward Smith, and he's 61. He actually happens to be a client of Alex Myrtle. And we're going to show you a picture of Mr.
So I said, it was like, oh.
He's an interesting character.
See now, if this guy gave a woman a compliment,
shut up.
They'd be like, "Get away from me!"
Yeah, get behind me, Satan. That was ugly.
Be like, this guy comes up telling you that you got some nice thighs.
Yeah,
you looking.
And then if he said your finger looking good, okay, it's over. It is over with those thighs. Okay, let me go back. So, but this, guys. So this also brings to light that their housekeeper who slipped and fell back in 2017, her death was ruled an accident.
That was 2018.
2017, 2018. They all run together these days. For us 40-year-old people.
3 or 4 years.
So they're currently in a civil lawsuit. The family is suing the family of their housekeeper who worked for them for the last 20 years or so, is suing them. Look, John's like, me, it's him. I don't need any more damn evidence. It's him. So Gloria, the family of Gloria Satterfield, filed a lawsuit against Alex and for swindling them out of receiving settlement money. So they were due some settlement money. They didn't pay it. So now they're in civil suits. But I mean, this house is seriously a murder house. Now these sound like some crack ass crackers. Thank you, Carrie, for making us laugh. But anyway, so Alex Myrtle is surrounded by murder. Okay? Because how does your housekeeper die accidentally by natural causes? You trip and fall.
She fell down the stairs.
I just don't get it. And then the alleged conspiracy led to a $505,000 settlement. And the Satterfield sons say they haven't gotten any of that money. But anyway, Myrtle turned himself in. And y'all, he didn't even have like a bandage on his head or anything, which, how does that even happen?
It's been 12 days since he got shot in the face.
Yeah, and he has no bandages.
And all he's doing is wearing a mask for COVID.
Jameed, how are you, sir? Thanks for hopping in here. So anyway, Myrtle has been charged with insurance fraud, a conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, along with filing a false police report. I'm pretty anxious to see what other charges he's going to be charged with.
You know what I think is crazy, and I guess it speaks to the justice system in the United States, is that the guy that actually that this guy paid, that Alex Myrtle paid, to shoot him, they're actually charging him with attempted suicide, with attempted insurance fraud, with all of the same charges that they're charging this guy. And the bail that they put on the guy that shot this guy is higher than the bail for this lawyer.
How is that even possible?
Like this guy's out on bail right now for like $30,000. And the guy that
Curtis's is $55,000.
Yes, $55,000 for. Yeah.
And so anyway, we won't know about this until October 25th, but I'm super curious to find out what all is going to come out. So Jameed says, "Hey Eric, nice to meet you."
Hey, good to meet you.
And says, "NGL, this sounds a bit heroic to me." NGL.
Heroic, not gonna lie.
Oh, tell me.
See, I'm up with the slang.
I'm not. I need the 411. I have no clue about anything. But anyway, so this is super interesting. I don't know what's going to come of these two cases. I feel like, my opinion, don't at me, don't come sue me, because I have no idea. Alex is in all of this mess. Alex is involved probably with every single one of these deaths.
He's definitely involved. I don't know if he did them.
No. I don't think that he did them. He's involved. He
arranged them.
I mean, he's got the power. And this is what happens with people that think that they're so well connected that they're not going to get away with it. Don't interrupt me when I'm talking.
Here's the thing.
Oh, hell no.
Here's the thing. If you're willing to kill yourself, if you're willing to put a bounty on your own head, then
you have no limits, you have no boundaries.
What prevents you from having your wife and your kid killed, right? Like, I don't know. If you're in a mental state where you're willing to have yourself killed, then I mean, I don't know.
So just some insurance info real quick.
Who's ever heard of somebody hiring out a hitman for themselves?
Yeah, and that's what caught my eye too. I was just like, it doesn't make sense. Like, he's hiring a hitman to kill him so that he can leave 10 million to his kid. And so let's talk about insurance for a second. So insurance does, I think in every state, does have a 2-year suicide clause. So in those first 2 years, if you die by suicide, then you don't get any of the money. And for him being an attorney, he was not aware of this. So super interesting.
Or he probably was. That's probably why he.
Oh, maybe.
If he had gotten the policy with him.
So Joanne says, he's a dirtbag. Just shoot him. Ha ha.
They already did.
They did once, Joanne. He doesn't have a bandage on his head. So there's that. CPJ says, snap, snap, snap. That's deep, Eric. I get you. I wasn't even listening to it. I didn't even. What did you say?
I said that if anybody's willing to kill themselves.
Okay. I have heard that. That's fine. Look at Chon. Chon said no, thank you. And shoot, I was gonna say one more thing that was kind of relevant or maybe irrelevant. Most of the shit that I say is irrelevant. But okay, so I'm going to really quickly, a feel-good story. Let's end this on a feel-good story. A former police officer tracked down a man in a family photo that he found at Ground Zero. So that was pretty cool. He found this picture. He ended up tracking the family down, and the family, his whole worry this whole time was that maybe the gentleman who's, this picture obviously came out of his office, was not alive anymore. But they tracked him down. He's still alive. The day before, he ended up having the day before 9/11, he ended up having to go to London, and so he was not there for that.
Isn't it crazy? Like speaking, of the 9/11. I know we just passed the 20th anniversary of 9/11. It's hit home with, I guess, a lot of people our age, right?
Yeah,
we were just young adults at the time. I mean, at least for us, right?
Right.
But for seeing these people, like how crazy is it for people that were worked in one of those buildings that for whatever reason they weren't in that building on that day at that time, they worked on that floor that the plane crashed into, but they weren't there for whatever reason. I think that's some kind of providence, whether you believe it or not. That's some kind of I don't know. I think that's something telling you that you have something better to do or something more to do. With your life.
You have a purpose.
Forward. You have a more
and whatever it is that you're doing right now.
Not saying not taking away anything from the people that perished
sure.
on that day, because I mean, hell, they were probably most of them were probably great people that had accomplished a lot in their lives. So. And definitely will not be forgotten. So
CPJ is asking, Eric, have you watched the 9/11 documentary on Netflix?
I have not.
We've not watched it, but you're the second person I believe that has mentioned it. So now, have you watched it, CPJ? Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I know 9/11 pretty well, but
I don't know. So we don't know if we know it very well.
I mean, I feel like I'm pretty confident in my recollection.
We're gonna watch it. But
we'll definitely watch it. But I don't know if it's anything.
Joanne says it's God's will and it wasn't their time.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
kind of
that's what I.
the same
I
way.
mean, there's a number of stories that I've heard. People, especially like I say, with it being the 20th anniversary, just past this past weekend. I've heard a number of stories of people that were like scheduled for like flight 93 or one of the flights that crashed into the World Trade Center, and for whatever reason they had to change their flight the night before because like their husband. I think one of the stories I heard, like her husband was having a needed to have like she was a flight attendant. She was supposed to be on that flight 93, and she, like her husband was going to she wanted to give her husband a surprise birthday party. And so she needed to bump her flight to a different flight to be there at a certain time. And basically she wasn't on on the flight that crashed into the World Trade Center. And so, I mean, I think with that though, you carry enormous guilt.
Yeah, you carry survivor's guilt for sure.
So
yeah,
I mean, it's definitely a crazy thing.
So just real quick, we went to the memorial.
Yeah, when we went to New York a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. And you guys, if you know me personally, I don't register like a lot of things. Like some things I just don't think about like on my own. But so there was the one thing that when we were down at the memorial place, we were inside the museum, and I saw this note and it really struck me. The handwriting was like you would see a handwriting in Mexico, like out of a journal or something. And it was just a small post-it note. And they were looking for their son that was delivering breakfast to 9/11. And I told Eric, I said, it never dawned on me that there were people that not necessarily were working in the towers, but were out delivering.
There's a lot of people that are involved in any kind of industry and any kind of business, from people delivering food, delivering mail, like you say, like a lot of the people that died on 9/11 were firefighters that were out there searching for people when the towers collapsed.
I mean, it was just like different to me to know that I'm just like, so this mom is looking for her son who was a delivery driver. And I don't know if you guys know, but there's a wall, and back behind it are still remains of people that have not been identified. And so one of the things that, of course, that struck me. I mean, that was painful. I mean, the entire, if you guys get a chance to go, please go down there.
Ground Zero.
To Ground Zero, because you'll hear some, of course, the most famous voicemails that were left. But, you see pictures, you see faces. It is a very emotional place to be. Oh, shoot. I was going to tell you another thing, too. And it just like totally skipped my mind. But anyway. Oh, so just the week before, prior to 9/11, they were able to match, I want to say 1 or 2 of the bodies. They were able to find a match for them. So that's what they're a couple of weeks ago. So they're still working on identifying remains, which is totally wild to me that we are still 20 years later, we're still trying to identify bodies that are still down there. Anyway, super unrelated, but I just wanted to let you know that was the beautiful story that I found, that this officer who's now retired ended up finding that in his basement. So CPJ says, I thought the same thing. They go all the way back to 1976-ish. It's not about 9/11. It goes all the way back to relationship with other countries that caused the breakdown, etc., that led to 9/11, not just that day specifically. Yeah, we're totally going to watch it. I'm like...
Yeah, and that's crazy because, I don't know, not to get in any kind of politics or anything like that.
This is not about politics
on this show, but there was a man, he actually turned out to be a presidential candidate a few years ago. His name was Ron Paul, and he went into this whole thing about that, provocation of retaliation that we kind of brought on ourselves, and that's I assume that's probably where that goes. But
look at Sean. He's like, we're hazardous when we're drinking. That's funny. Anyway, you guys, I've gone way over my time, so I need to respect your time and your bedtimes. Thank y'all so much for hopping on here and helping us kind of go through all of this Petito and Myrtle over here. And man,
the Petito Myrtle.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll be posting updates as soon as I get them. Obviously, I'm kind of delayed right now because, I mean, there's some stuff breaking. I don't even know it. But Tammy, thank you so much for keeping me posted. I appreciate you. Also, Tammy turned me on to a podcast, which is called Hub City 10 to 8, and it's 10-8, and it is all local crimes. And basically, Kenda took my idea, not my specific idea, but the idea that I had to do like cold cases and stuff like that around here, and she ran with it. So she is doing great with that. So please go support her podcast. I've also reached out to her, and hopefully they'll want to be on my show. So I'm super excited and looking forward to that response. And Joanne says, very tragic and so sad, but a war is a war, and whatever the situation is, basically that was what was trying to happen for sure. But anyway, you guys, I'm not going to keep you up anymore. Thank you so much for being in here. I've got several, I'm so excited, volunteers to be on my show. So I'm going to line these up. I'm going to send out some dates and some topics, and we are going to keep talking some sheet. Everybody, good night. If you have a podcast, if you have a show topic, anything that you want to do, just holler. You can find me anywhere. Facebook, text message, whatever. Anyway, you guys have a good night. Have a great weekend. Get your guns up, and let's keep talking sheep. Good night, everybody.
Good night.